Okay. Today I'm going to be retelling the story of the Ugly Duckling. There once was a mother duck. She had no babies yet. She was waiting on her babies to hatch, though. She had about 4 or 5 eggs. She waited night and day, but nothing seemed to happen. Finally, on the 3rd day of waiting, a couple of the eggs had hatched. There was still one brown egg that was way darker than the rest that did not hatch yet. And then the other baby ducklings wanted to go down to the pond and play so bad, but the mother duckling promised to herself that she would wait till all her baby ducks had been hatched because she was going to love them all the same no matter what. So the family of ducks waited day and day again for the last baby ducks that have already been hatched, and the mother duck heard a crack, and finally the last duck had been hatched. The other ducks began laughing at this new duck, for its beak was way too long for a baby duck, and its feathers were way too scruffy. And the ugly duckling just seemed to keep getting laughed at by the other ducks. The mother still promised to love all her ducks the same no matter what. Finally, they could go down to the pond, and the mother could teach the baby ducks how to be ducks. The other 3 ducks that were born first started going quack, quack, quack. The ugly duckling couldn't seem to get down the quack, quack, quack. Then the other ducks began to laugh at him again, and even new ducks come over and started laughing at him. Hung his head in shame, for even his mother seemed to be embarrassed of him, and made him go off to the corner and play by himself while his brothers and sisters were playing together. All that night, the ugly duckling stayed up and was just worried about embarrassing his mother, and he didn't want to do that anymore, so he ran away. He ran through deep marshes and river reeds until he come to a new pond with a new family of ducks. For the new family asked, "Who are you and what are you?" And the little other ducklings laughed at him again and said, "You sure knew that he cannot stay with this family of ducks either." He hung his head and started traveling back again to find a new family. He went through river reeds and steep marshes and through big piles of sticks, but he made it through. He found a new family of geese. These geese laughed at him too. They asked him, "Who are you? What are you?" and said, "You sure are ugly." But the mom and father geese said that he was welcome to stay with them for as long as he needed, and they treated him like his own. He played with his brothers and sisters that were geese, and the mom and dad loved him just like he was their very own. But one day, a hunter and his dog came through shooting towards the geese, until the duck, all he could do was sit still because he didn't know what else to do. The dog came up to the ugly duckling and said, "Who are you? What are you? And you sure are ugly." The duck just hung his head again, for he knew that this family loved him like he was their own, but he knew it was time to go on and search for a new family. He waddled once again through steep marshes and river reeds and big piles of sticks, but he was growing larger, and he was becoming a bigger duck. This time he come up upon a family of farmers, and once they saw him, they were so excited because they had been searching for a duck in hopes of the duck laying eggs. He grew stronger and stronger, but harder to take care of with his family, and he never produced any eggs. So the family had to get rid of him, even though they had grown fond of him. They shooed him away from their house. The duck grew sad again, for he thought this would have been his family. Once again, as he left the farmer's house, he had to waddle all the way through large river reeds and steep marshes and even bigger piles of sticks. Every time he did this, he became even uglier and dirtier than ever before. This time, he came upon a family of swans. Now, he thought these swans were so beautiful, and he knew if he couldn't live with a family of ducks, a family of humans, and a family of geese, then he surely could not live with a family of swans. He just stood there and watched the family play together. Then finally, one swan came up to him and said, "Your feathers are the whitest and most beautiful feathers I've ever seen." And then he looked at his reflection in the water And sure enough, he had become into a beautiful swan. He then joined his new swan family in the lake, in the pond, and began playing with them. One day, as they were playing, they noticed a man and woman walking up to the pond to begin to feed them breadcrumbs. He looked harder and he noticed that it was the farmer and his wife that he once lived with before. The farmer shouted to the swan, "I'm so happy you found a nice family. You are so beautiful, the most beautiful swan I have ever seen." As the farmer and his wife walked away, the once ugly duckling thought to himself, "I'm so happy I found my family." And the now beautiful swan lived happy ever after.